everybody, it's Mr. Mobs here and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is titled Half-Life Alyx, is it still relevant in 2024? So just before we start discussing that, I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel recently. I've got a goal of 200 subscribers and I can't believe how quickly it's going up. This last week alone I think there's been about 50 subscribers, so massive thanks to everyone who's contributing. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please do. Don't do it for money, and I really appreciate all the support, all the comments. They're lighting up at the moment. Really nice to interact with everyone on the channel, so yeah, big thanks for that, and please keep up the good work. So yeah, back to the video today. Half-Life Alyx, is it still relevant in 2024? So the reason I wanted to make this video is anyone who knows anything about VR knows that Half-Life Alyx is kind of the gold standard for VR games. It was released back in March 2020, I believe, and I actually played it soon after that, and I didn't actually realise that I played it quite so close to its release date. And I played it on using a Oculus Quest 1, the original Quest, back when it was Oculus, before it was bought by Meta, or before the name change. And yeah, so Oculus Quest 1, I played it on an Asus TUF laptop. It had a 1060 Ti GPU graphics card, and 16 gigabytes of RAM. I played it via virtual desktop. The laptop wasn't wired to the router or anything like that. I know the advice is that you're supposed to do that, and that's why I advise people as well, for the better connection. So yeah, it was pretty basic setup, but actually the experience that I had playing through the game was amazing. Probably partly to do with how good the actual game is itself, rather than my setup. But I had the graphics cranked up and everything. But the reason why this is kind of relevant is that since then, I've changed my headset several times. I've owned a Quest 2 and a Pico 4, and I'm currently now using the Quest 3. And I've also, since playing through on my laptop, I've upgraded to a desktop PC, and that PC has gone through several upgrades as well. I've kind of changed the GPU out, from like I think I started on a 3080, went to a 3090, and then on to a 4090. So I'm quite fortunate. I've got like a higher end PC. Now the reason this is relevant, it's not just me kind of showing off saying, oh, I've got this, I've got that, but the reason this is relevant is that each time I've upgraded, I've come back to this game and I've fired it up and given it a go, given it a playthrough. And the reason for that is, well, a couple of things actually. So it's good to like kind of have a benchmark, be able to kind of compare what your system used to perform like, or what your headset used to perform like, to what it does now using the same game. But yeah, so I mean, really, so the game hasn't really changed. I think the last update, when I checked online, I think the last official update was in 2022, about May 2022. Now there are a load of mods and stuff like that you can get. There's a massive modding community out there for this game, which I've not really explored, to be honest. I definitely should do, because I've been told several times that there's loads of good stuff out there. Anyway, so yeah, so I've gone through each time, playing it through with my new headsets or my new hardware, PC hardware, and it just brings this game back to life. The amount of detail that was put in this game by Valve is absolutely amazing. And it's really kind of good to see that every time you go back. I mean, so I made this switch from the Quest 1 to the Quest 2. That there was a nice noticeable jump in visuals there. There was unfortunately one thing at the time a lot of people didn't like, including myself, was the Quest 1 had OLED screens. Okay, so the blacks were definitely black. It was nice. When you move to the Quest 2, the blacks were a kind of like hazy, kind of foggy sort of grey colour, and in certain scenes that does kind of take away from the the visuals, you know. So there was that, but then the Quest 2 was a lot higher resolution. So what it kind of took in one aspect, it kind of gave in other aspects. So wasn't kind of all doom and gloom there. I then moved to the Pico 4. Pico 4 is kind of split the VR community. You've got the people who really sing its praises, love it, and then you've got other people that say, no, it's terrible. For various reasons. But actually, to be fair, if you're using it for PCVR and you're looking at it from a PCVR standpoint, it's a really good headset. It come out a good year before the Quest 3 come out. It come out with color pass through, a reasonably comfortable balanced head strap. The facial interface wasn't so good. I remember having to replace that. It also had pancake lenses, and it wasn't very heavy either. I remember it being quite light. Controllers uh, it did have rings on it, but the way they were situated meant that you could put your hands closer together when you're playing. Not that that really made much of an odds, to be honest. But yeah, so all in all, the resolution on the Pico 4 as well, that was really good. It was a lot higher than the Quest 2. So when you're comparing Pico 4 to Quest 2, hands down, the Pico 4 for PCVR was the way to go. Downside to it, the colours weren't as bright. Okay, so they're kind of a little bit more dulled down, and I did notice that. The standalone on Pico 4, not so good. The ecosystem wasn't there compared to Quest. But look, this isn't a video about which is the best headset. I kind of digress a little bit with it, but what I'm trying to say is playing Half-Life Alyx on the Pico 4 was amazing. That was my first experience with pancake lenses, higher resolution than the Quest 2. Again, you go back to it, you could start reading the text on things and just start noticing all those details that were in there from pretty much day one. There was a patch that that Valve did to improve some of the textures and that. So perhaps not all of it was there from day one, but a good majority of it was there, to be seen. But because of the perhaps the hardware limitations, you know, unless you're going to buy a high-end PC VR headset, you weren't able to see it. So that was really nice to be able to go back and see that. Now, most recently on the Quest 3, which is what I'm playing with now, I've sold my Pico, did love it, sold it. Quest 3 is better, although I don't know if it works out for how much it costs, whether it's that much better. Let you guys decide that anyway. But yeah, so Quest 3, playing through again, and absolutely amazing. I really, really can't fault it. Now playing on a 4090, so although I had the graphics cranked up before, everything's a lot smoother. It just, you know, is for a game that's now what, like about 4 years old. You know, you can answer to the title of this video, is it still relevant in 2024? Yes, it is. If you guys haven't played it for a long time, it's definitely worth going back. If you've got a new headset or you've upgraded your PC, definitely worth going back and playing it. There's probably not many people out there who have got access to PCVR who haven't already played it. It's kind of one of those games that as soon as you get PCVR up and running, it's normally one of the first games you want to play, just because of the hype that it's got around it, and it's for good reason. You know, a lot of games do get hype, and you play them and you think, but actually it's really good. Yeah, there's some downfalls. It's not as difficult as some of the games, and actually there are some really good PC VR games out there that don't really get so much of a mention. The Lone Echo series, they were made by Oculus Studios / Meta. They do get mentioned, but I don't think as often as they should. You don't see as much on them as you should. And there's a few other, I think the Wanderer or Wander, I always get the name mixed up, but like the puzzle based game, that's a fairly good game as well. There are definitely other PC VR titles out there that are worth a look, but Half-Life Alyx is kind of probably a little bit of a step up from the rest. Moving forward, Valve is apparently working on a new headset. If you watch Sadly It's Bradley, his channel, he does a lot of data mining with his friends, and they're always looking into the new releases of Steam VR and what's in the background and stuff like that. And for a long time now, there's been lots of hints towards a new VR headset that's codenamed the Decade. Now, no one really knows if Valve are going to ever release this headset. They put a lot of time into it, so you'd like to think that they would. But regardless, my point being there is, I guess Half-Life was kind of like the flagship game for the Valve Index. And are they looking to make another game, something similar of the same series, or maybe something completely different but still of the same high standard to show off their news headset? That would be absolutely amazing, and we really need companies to get on board with these AAA titles. I guess the problem being is with the market kind of swaying so much towards standalone, and for good reason in a lot of ways, then that inspires developers to make the standalone titles, which kind of holds back the creativity a little bit. But with the Quest 3 having a more powerful chipset, it has, I guess, helped things there. And obviously in time, standalone will get better and better, as the hardware gets better as well. So it's one of those things. It will kind of be better. But PCVR is always going to be that step above because of the kind of horsepower behind it. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully you managed to stay all the way to the end. I appreciate some of my videos recently being really long. Again, massive thanks to all the support. 200 subscribers, well on my way, so please subscribe if you haven't. Stick some comments in the comment section about your experiences with this game as well, or any future videos you'd like to see from me. Always happy to talk to you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.
Oh man.